So we'll continue our lesson with discounts and savings. And the first question we're going to look at here talks about percentage paid and percentage saved. All right. When it comes to the percentage paid, like what percent you pay, this is the formula and you can write it down. We can say percent paid. So it's very similar to our percent markup. It's equal to the amount you paid, so whatever you paid for the item, divided by the original amount. So what that item was originally worth. And then you're going to multiply that by 100 to change it to a percentage. When you're talking about savings, the percent saved is the amount you saved, or your savings, over the original amount. And you would multiply that by 100. And the formula that we were previously working with a few days ago, we talked about percent markup. Which was the markup. Remember, the markup was the difference between the price you're selling your items for and the price you bought them for. So if you bought them from a wholesaler for $8 and are selling them for $10, your markup would be 2. Difference is the answer you get when you subtract. You divide that by the original and multiply by 100. So those are 3 formulas that will show up in this unit. Okay. So if we flip back to the previous slide, we're looking at a pair of shoes that are on sale. And you can see a couple of costs there, or a couple of prices listed. The first, or the top section of the slide, wants us to find the percent paid. The bottom wants us to find the percent saved. Now, there's an interesting relationship between these two things. If you pay 60%, then you save 40%. Okay? If you save 35%, then you're paying 65%. What do you notice about those two examples I just said? What do those numbers add to? 35% and 65%, or 60% and 40%? 100%, that's right. Okay? So if you're saving 50%, you're paying 50%. If you're saving 70%, you're paying 30%. So here we go. Back to this. Looking at a pair of sneakers, fresh pair of Nike Kicks, green and gold colors, go Tommies. They're originally $89.99. They're on sale for $76.49. You want to know the percent paid. Okay? So I'm just going to move this formula right here. And we'll use the one that we just came up with, or just wrote down. Percent paid. It's the amount you pay. So we can assume there's no taxes involved in this question. Over the original amount times 100. What is the amount I'm going to pay for the sneakers? Yeah, the sale price. Okay, getting a deal. $76.49. What's the original amount? What do the sneakers usually cost? $89.99. And when you calculate that, okay, if I go 76.49 divided by 89.99, that gives me 0.8499. and then there's a 8. If I multiply that by 100, what's that work out to be? Yeah, swing the decimal place 2 spots to the right. It'd be 84.998% or 85%. Now the bottom question wants me to figure out the percent saved. You should be able to do that right now. If you're paying 85%, what are you saving? 15%. How'd you get that? 100% minus 85% is 15%. Okay. Another way to do it would be to figure out your savings. What are your savings in this case? The savings would be the difference between $89.99 and the sale price, $76.49. We're saving $13.50 here. When it comes to the percent saved, what number goes on top this time? The amount we saved, okay? I'm using this formula right here, or the savings. In this case, I'm putting $13.50 over the original price, $89.99. And if I do that, 13.5 divided by 89.99, I get 0.15002, we'll say, times 100, and that gives me 15%, which is what we knew the answer was going to be. Okay, so percent saved and percent paid, they should always add to 100%. Everyone okay with that? All right, just a couple of examples, 2 questions that we're going to finish with, and then you guys can have a worksheet. So here we go. Question number 1. It says the cost of a new sledgehammer is $42.99. It is on sale for $32.24. Steal of a deal. What percent would you now have to pay? So this question is exactly like the problem we just talked about. Only we're not saving on sneakers, we're saving on a sledgehammer. We're into busting stuff. So if I want to know the percent paid, what's the formula for the percentage paid? To figure out the percent paid, we're going to write down the amount we pay, and we're going to divide it by the original amount, and then we're going to multiply that by 100. So which number goes on top? Is it the $42.99 divided by the $32.24, or is it the other way around, $32.24 divided by $42.99? It's $32.24 divided by $42.99 times 100. And what do you get for an answer? $74.994%. What would you call that? $75%. All right. $50 follow-up. If you paid 75%, what did you save? 25%. It's a pretty good deal, isn't it? Okay. Next question, we're talking about towels. Shopping for towels. Big day. Okay, we're going to switch over. Here's the deal. Towels are on sale at a department store. The advertisement says, buy one, get one, 50% off. The regular price of a towel is $21.99. If you buy 4 towels, how much will it cost? It says don't include tax. So we're just focusing on the discount in this portion. It says what is the percent you actually save? All right, when it comes to the regular price, like what would it cost you if you wanted to buy 4 towels and there was no discount? How would you figure that out? Multiply what by 4? 21.99 times 4, and that's going to give us $87.96. Okay, that's the regular price. Okay? But we're actually going to get a situation like this. Okay? We're going to pay $21.99 for the first towel. What would I pay for the second towel? If it's 50% off. $21.99, so that's 22, roughly. If you divide 22 by 2, or if you take 50% or half off, what's that going to give you? It's $11. $10.99.5, so we'll round that to $11. Do you understand how I got $11 out of that? Think about our discount, okay? If a regular towel costs $21.99 and it's on sale or discount of 50% off, how do I figure out what to multiply that by? This is what we learned in yesterday's video. Does a discount increase the price or decrease the price? Decreases. So I'm going to go 100%. Should I add 50% or subtract 50%? If you're telling me it decreases, what makes more sense? Add or subtract? Subtract 50%. What's that give you? It also gives you 50%. So I need to multiply this by 50%. What do I need to do to the percentage before I multiply? I need to change it to a decimal. I divide it by 100, as the symbol implies. That would give me 0.5, and $21.99 times 0.5, it comes out to this. If we round that to the nearest cent, that's going to give us $11. Cool with that? I don't have to worry about tax in this question. So that is the price of the second towel. What would the third towel cost me? The third towel is back to the regular full price, $21.99. What's the fourth towel cost? The fourth towel is $11, you bet. How would I figure out my total? And what does that add up to give me? If I add all of these, so it's 22 and 22 and another 22, that'd be 66, but I'd have to subtract 2 cents. So it's not $66. What's $66 minus 2 cents? $65 and 98 cents. Excellent, Lisa. Thank you. Okay. So instead of paying $87.96, you're only paying $65.98. What are your savings? How would you figure out the savings? How much money did you save? If you were supposed to pay $87.96 with no sale, but you only had to pay $65.98 with a sale, what should you do to those two numbers? You should subtract them. Your savings are $87.96 minus $65.98. And that's going to give us $21.98. Okay, good deal. 20 bucks in your pocket. How do you figure out the percent saved? What's your percent saved equal to? It's your savings, or the amount you saved, yes, over the original amount. And then you multiply that by 100. What are the savings in this question? Anyone know what the savings are? $21.98, thank you. And what's the original amount? $87.96, that's right. And I'll multiply that by 100. And I get $21.98 divided by 87.96. That's 0.249886. If I multiply that by 100, I get roughly 25%. 25% savings. If I save 25%, what did I pay? Doesn't ask for this question, but we'll call it the $50 follow-up. Percent paid is what? 75%. Nailed it. You cool with that? Awesome. Okay. This was the sale of the second towel. $21.99 times 0.5. I did that over on this. I just wanted to show you where the 0.5 or the 50% came from. All right, that's the show for today. You guys can go to work on your sheet.